Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Keto. And today's awesome guest is Kim Caruk from Deliciously Keto. Kim is actually a trained chef. So when it comes to making keto recipes, she has one up on the rest of us, let me tell you. She is also an amazing food photographer and a food blogger. So let's go and say hi to Kim. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Keto, the show that highlights ordinary people achieving extraordinary results and changing their lives for the better with a ketogenic diet. You too can be healthier and live better by adopting this amazing lifestyle. If you are new to the show, new episodes go live every Wednesday for your encouragement and support. And all show notes can be found at bewellbeketo.com. Listen each week and add the show to your favorites on your best podcast app. And if you know any cool people that would like to share their story, please contact us at support@highenergygirl.com. And if you want to follow us on social media, which I highly recommend, you can either join our Facebook group called High Energy Girls, if you're a girl, or follow us on Instagram and YouTube at The High Energy Girl. Now let's get to this week's episode with your host, Tracy Gluhite. Yep, that's me. Create Whole Body Wellness, a powerful new advancement in energy medicine. Increase your energy, empower your life. I am super excited to announce that I am now a bioenergetics practitioner. And many people are like, well, what is bioenergetics? So imagine that our body is controlled by our energy field, and these fields get distortions and blockages, which create physical and emotional symptoms. So how do we get energy blockages? From stress, toxins, EMFs, emotional traumas, physical scars, and physical traumas. All you need to do is decode the human body field to get to the root cause and restore your energy for life. For more information, head on over to the blog at highenergygirl.com/bioenergetics with an X. That's BIOENERGETIX, and heal your energy for life. Hey Kim, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you are like amazing to follow on Instagram. And so I want all the listeners to go over and follow you because you make food look so beautiful. And for those that don't yet know you, why don't you let them know a little bit about you?
Okay, cool. So my name is Kim. I live in Melbourne in Victoria, Australia. So I've been following the low carb lifestyle since probably May of last year. I have 3 teenage children. I'm a trained chef, so I worked as a chef for a little over 16 years. That didn't work so well when I became a single parent, though. So like the hours were quite long and challenging. So I needed to look for something a little bit different that was going to work around my children and the school hours. So I'm now currently a swimming teacher. So that's kind of a little bit of a different field. So Instagram kind of come about by changing the way that we were eating, and my children really encouraged me to jump on Instagram, put the food up there that we were doing just so we could show other people, that it doesn't need to be boring. It doesn't need to be, the same old sort of food. And that's sort of how it kind of evolved and come about.
I mean, seriously, like when I look at your blog, or I call it a blog, so it's like a food porn blog, it just makes me, I am so busy that I don't take the time to cook. And when I look at your stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really do need to cook. Are you ever going to do like a cookbook or anything?
Well, funny you should say that. I have actually released an ebook. So probably in June, maybe May of this year, I was asked to be part of a collaboration. So there were 6 Aussie food bloggers. Megan Allen was the one that sort of instigated it all. She invited me to create an ebook and be part of that sort of bundle, which, I jumped on the chance because, I had her mentoring me to be able to put it together. So that's done really well, and I am currently in the midst of doing another one. So that should be out probably late September, I'm kind of thinking. So we're sort of halfway through doing that one. So yeah, bit excited.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I am not a cook, so when I can find like great, looking food, it inspires me. Like tonight we're going to make pizza as a family.
Yum.
And they're going to eat their way and I'm going to eat my way. But the cool thing is that, it's like you can pretty much make anything you want to be keto friendly, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? That's the key. That's the thing that I love about this lifestyle is it's not, I mean, you can just eat normal food. You don't need to go and buy all these weird and wonderful ingredients. You can just go to the local, supermarket, the grocery store, buy just normal food, whole foods, and just put a dinner together. It's low in carbs. You don't have to have all these, strange ingredients. It's just normal food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Whole food. I love it.
Yeah.
So how did you find keto, Kim?
So a few years back, I kind of was looking into the low carb sort of the lifestyle. My son was struggling with tics, so vocal tics and physical tics, and I did a bit of research and I found online that reducing sugars and carbs was going to, or possibly could make a big difference to him. So I kind of looked into the low carb lifestyle, tried a few recipes. Kids were resistant. They didn't want to know about it. And I just went, it's all a little bit too hard. Then I kind of fast forward a couple of years. His tics were getting worse. And I really, I knew I needed to do something about it. And a lady at work had recently started on the keto diet. So I was talking to her and I thought, you know what? I don't think it's really going to be that challenging. It seemed more simple for me to do. I don't know why it was different a couple of years later, but I don't know. I just found that it was easier. So talking to her, getting the information off her and jumping online and reading a lot of information. Diet Doctor was great. That was a great resource for me. They had a lot of recipes that just seemed simple, seemed easy. So I gave it a go and it just worked really, really well. And because the food tastes so good, with the healthy fats in there and there's so many flavors that everybody wanted to eat it. No one resisted it. And I was saying, we can do this. It's not hard.
And you were a cook or a chef. Which one? A chef?
Yes, chef, yes.
So that's fantastic, right? So you're a chef, and now instead of just cooking the way that you used to, you just tweak it a little bit, and that's why it looks so amazing.
Absolutely. I don't think you have to be a chef though to do it.
Right,
a lot of the times my kids are there and they're cooking dinner. I don't know. I think you can make it as simple as you want to or as complicated as you want to. And I just think possibly like before when we were eating, the standard way of eating, I'd make dinner and the kids would be like, I don't really want to eat that. So one would be happy, one wouldn't be happy with it. And I think now, because there's just so much flavour, everybody's happy. Everybody eats it. I don't have that, that concern. And I don't know. It's just, I love it. And the kids love it. It's just it tastes so good.
And how old are your kids?
So I've got an 18-year-old, a 16 and a 13. So 2 girls and then a boy.
18, 16, 13. Okay, so the 13-year-old's your son?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I know you've had quite a bit of success personally with your weight loss. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of just happened. So my main goal when starting the keto or low carb lifestyle was more about, I was suffering from, I had a lot of back pain, inflammation in my back, reflux. And I just kind of went, I need to do something about that, but also about my son with his tics. So my main focus with changing the way we were eating was more about our health. And as a result, I've lost weight. So I don't pull out the scales and stand on the scales and weigh myself. I just go by how I feel. I go by my clothing. And I've dropped, I think it's about 25 kilos, which works out, I think it's about 55 pounds. over the 12 months that I've been doing it. So
wow, that's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, it's just kind of happened though. Like I don't feel like I'm working hard at it. I just, as I said, it just kind of, because I'm not focused so much on the numbers on the scales, I think it just kind of happens.
Aw.
So
So how long did it, tell me, like, let's dive deep into the story with your son, because
sure.
I believe that so many people out there, well, first of all, when you said tick originally to me, I thought like a tick, like a mountain tick, because I had one of those. So
right.
when you said that, like originally, so why don't you explain, first of all, what a tick is? And then second of all, let them know like how you fixed everything and the whole story.
Sure. Okay. So a tick, it's a little bit like Tourette's, where they're making sounds, whether it's a grunt or a sniff, or they could yell out certain, not so much words, but sort of sounds. And so that's sort of the vocal side of it, and the physical side. He blinks his eyes quite a lot, or his head would be twitching. So that sort of started, as I said, back in I think about 2014, 15, and kind of escalated. So, and I did, as I said, a lot of research on it. I've taken him to doctors, pediatricians, just trying to see if there was something physical that we could do, whether there was something. I didn't want to put him on medication though. I just thought that surely there was something that we could do to reduce it for him. So looking into his diet, eating a lot of pasta, a lot of bread, a lot of grains, sugars, having juice and lollies and all of that sort of stuff. And I thought we really need to just see how we go. Let's get rid of all of that stuff and see if there's much of a difference. And it was incredible. He was so much more settled. He slept better. His tics, they're still there, but they're significantly reduced. So yeah, it's certainly made a massive difference for him.
That's awesome. And he was just totally open and willing to do whatever it takes.
Oh, I'm not so sure I would say that. He kind of, because he's addicted to the sugar, he loved the sugar, he loved the taste of it. But over time, as he realized that it was working for him and that his tics were reducing, he was feeling a lot better, he then became a bit more open to it. And look, every now and again, he will still have a sweet treat. And, I think I can't always, being 13, he's going to want to sort of have a treat here and there, and that's okay, I think. But predominantly his diet is a low-carb diet. So, and he feels so much better, and he sees the results of eating better, and as I said, his tics, they're minimal, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What about the girls?
So the girls, they were a little bit sort of sluggish, a little bit sort of tired and stuff beforehand, and they've embraced it 100%. They fully eat low carb. My oldest one probably eats a little bit more along the keto side, so a little bit less on the carbs. She, however, when she has noticed that her stomach's not appreciating all the almond flour and things like that, so we've had to sort of adjust her diet to see what works for her. So, which I think with low carb and keto, everybody's different. So you've got to kind of work around what works for you, and what I eat could be different to what you eat as opposed to what she eats. So yeah, it's been a bit of a juggle trying to work out sort of what foods cause her tummy to be a bit sore. So as I said, we've had to cut out some almond flour for her. Like Brussels sprouts kind of cause a little bit of trouble as well. So we've been to see a naturopath, and I did listen to one of your earlier podcasts about gut health and improving that with probiotics and things like that. So we've just recently seen a naturopath, and she's giving us a couple of probiotics to take. So we're just in the early stages of, repairing her gut health and getting that up and running as well. So, yeah, there's been a few little challenges along the way, but overall, definitely have seen a huge improvement in all of us, myself and the children.
Yeah, that is awesome. And when the show that you listened to, did that happen to be the one with Wade Lightheart?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's her symptom exactly with the gut health?
So bloated. She was quite bloated. She was constipated. So some days really good, some days not so good. So we were keeping a bit of a list of what she was eating, and on the days, so if she'd had a meal with, high in lots of vegetables, that, lots of cabbage and asparagus and Brussels sprouts, which is all great food, but it wasn't working for her tummy. So when we remove that, she feels amazing. So yeah, it was just trying to identify what sort of foods, and look, the process, get her gut health back up and running, and then slowly you reintroduce those foods again. So yeah, we're just kind of walking down that path at the moment, just to see if we can, get her back up and running.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And it's like the good news with gut health is it's all fixable, or I should say most of it's very fixable.
Yeah, well, we've done the medical side, so we've had all the tests done to make sure that there's nothing nasty going on, and that's all come back clear. So we're now looking at what is she eating, how is what's her gut health looking like. So we're now trying that path, because, as I said, all the medical tests have come back and are all clear. She's technically she's healthy. There's nothing wrong with her. So we just want to see if we can, change a couple of things in her diet and improve her gut health. And yeah, hopefully that.
Has she done a food sensitivity test before?
No, she hasn't done one.
I think that's really important. For me personally, it has helped me a ton.
Right.
I actually work with this lab in the UK, but I'm sure there's a place near you that you could get like a food sensitivity test. And
okay,
for me personally, I have probably about 25 foods that either react all the time or half the time. Things like the big offenders are like eggs, cow's milk. Those are the top two, but there's other things as well that I think when a person realizes that their body can handle it and then goes and heals their gut, oftentimes they have really good results,
Well, that's what we're hoping for. So we've only just started with the probiotics. So I'm really hoping in the next couple of weeks we see a huge difference. So, but yeah, I'll definitely look into getting her tested to see, if they can pinpoint particular things, to see, because it's not, she's quite uncomfortable at times, her tummy's really sore. So hopefully we can get that all fixed up.
Yeah, I would really think that might help her, because like I've interviewed people even with cancer that they've traced it back, that the cancer was caused by an autoimmune disease, which was caused by a food sensitivity. And that was all diagnosed from a naturopath, which I find super fascinating.
Yeah, well, I've not had experience with a naturopath before, though. Everything she was saying last night, because we actually just visited her last night, was really interesting. And it's incredible, purely by looking into her eyes, and, she could see so many different things that, were wrong with her. And I was like, wow, this is incredible.
I know. Gosh, if I was to live my life over again, that's what I would want to do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's very cool.
Super duper cool. So now when you started your own journey, did you start off with counting macros? There's a lot of different ways to do keto, right? So what did you do?
Yeah, I'm too lazy to do that, to be honest. Being a single parent, working full time, I needed something easy. And I found that if I needed to weigh things and measure, track things, I wouldn't stick to it. It'd be just too challenging. So as I said, I looked into what foods fell into the lower carb group, what were, what I call the green list that I can eat. So I just have based it on that. So, and I listen to my body. So if I'm hungry, I'll eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. So most days I will only have one meal a day. But if I'm hungry, then I'll make something to eat. So yeah, I don't weigh or track or measure or count macros. I just find that for me personally, I don't think I would stick to it if I was that strict. So, and I'm getting the results and it's working for me. And I know some people need that to stay on track, to have a focus. But for me personally, I don't think I'd be able to stick to it, to be honest.
Oh, girl, I'm right along there with you. Like, I cannot count. Like, I always say I'm going to. So I said, okay, this week I'm going to try to count my macros. But I'm just running with my hair on fire all the time. So, that's just not going to happen.
No, look, it's good in theory. Personally, for me, as I said, I know a lot of people do. And, if that works for them, that's fantastic. But, yeah, I'm lucky to get everybody up and organised and out the door to school. So, I don't have the time for it. But, as I said, it's working for me, and I know I'm listening to my body. If my body doesn't need the fuel, if it's going along, I don't eat. I don't feel the need to eat. A lot of the times, or before, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, we better have breakfast. Oh, it's midday. Have to have lunch. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. We need to eat dinner. We don't eat by the clock anymore. We listen to our bodies, and if we're hungry, we eat. If we're not, then we don't eat. So that's kind of how we work it at the moment. So, and it's working well.
And that's what most people need to learn how to do, really, is be mindful with their plate.
Yeah.
They don't
Definitely.
eat because they're hungry. They eat because it's time to eat. It's noon. Oh, better eat lunch. Oh,
yeah.
Got to eat breakfast before I go to work. So I think that's really good,
Yeah, and even with the kids, they now are learning to listen to their bodies as well. So, some mornings I used to be, you need to eat breakfast before you leave the house. It's the most important meal of the day. And, I'd really force them to eat. Whereas now it's like, well, if you're hungry, make yourself something to eat. If you're not, that's fine. You can, you've got your lunch there. If you need to eat it, you can eat it later. So, yeah, I just think it's, for me personally, teaching the kids to be able to listen to their bodies and to do what works for them. That's just really, really important to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll develop those good habits now, and then, they'll be well on their way when they're an adult, hopefully, and not fall into the yucky traps that many of us have.
Yeah, and look, particularly the girls, they're out talking to their friends, talking to their teachers. Like, they're really passionate about it. They love it. And my oldest she's in her final year of high school, so she's looking at next year moving into uni and working on health and nutrition and things like that. So yeah, it's something that she's passionate about as well, which is awesome.
That's cool. She's going to study it when she's in school.
Yes. Yep. That's sort of the path that she's going down now. So, it's really sparked an interest in her as well.
Oh, cool. That's so sweet. I mean, what a nice feeling to have as a mom, wanting to, inspire their children. That is super cool.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's great to see that they're taking on board what I'm teaching them, and listening to that and understanding how all the sugars, how it affects your body. And they're like, well, I don't want to, when I'm older, I don't want those diseases. I don't want to feel like that. So, and as I said, they can see them in themselves, how much better they feel when they're eating this way, as opposed to, eating all the junk food. So, yeah. And at 18 and 16, I think they're old enough to start making those choices for themselves. And they're, thankfully, they're choosing to not have the sugars and, focus on their health, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what advice do you give people? I'm sure that you've inspired your friends, family, people you know, and they've probably asked you for a lot of advice. What do you tell people that are just getting started?
I encourage them to just not to focus on other people, because there are others out there which you'll see on Instagram or, other family members. They're losing weight really, really quickly, and, possibly they're not losing weight quite as fast. But any change in their diet is a great change. Mm-hmm. So I just think starting off slowly, getting used to it, I just think if you try, may get a little overwhelmed by too many things. And I just think start by reducing your sugars, get rid of those, then start changing out, rather than having mashed potato, maybe have a cauliflower mash, just doing slow changes. Then you're slowly changing your palate, you're slowly getting used to it. I also, as I said, I'm a big believer in not standing on the scales too often, because that can be your main focus, and then you can lose the motivation if you don't see the scales changing. So yeah. And you know what? The scales really is just a measure of how much pressure you're putting on it when you stand on it. So it's not actually measuring what's going on in your body.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
And some people get obsessed with it. I wrote a book called No Frickin' Way, Weigh.
Yeah.
And it was about like me and how I was just so chasing that stupid number on the scale.
Yeah.
Now, since I'm, getting old, like my focus now is not on the number on the scale, but it's on like how strong I am, how fit I am, how healthy I am,
Yeah, definitely. 100% I agree. Yeah. There's so much more to it than what that number says. Are you feeling healthy? Are you feeling fit? Are your clothes fitting? Because you know what? Your clothes will show you more than a number on the scales. So, that's what it's all about. Feeling healthy, feeling strong. Is your back pain reducing? How are you sleeping at night? That's sort of, to me, so much more important than standing on a scale and seeing a number.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I was telling one of my clients today, I said, you can have two girls. They're both 5'5", 140. One of them is a couch potato and wears a size 10. The other one is an athlete and wears a size 6. They both weigh the same. Their height is the same. But that is really plausible. That could totally be true.
Yep, absolutely.
So the number on the scale doesn't tell the whole story. I have my clients take pictures of themselves and do measurements. So that's more important.
Pictures show the whole story, doesn't it? Like, I took photographs when I first started. Not that I'm going to show anyone those ones, but and just progressive photos as I went along, and you can definitely start to see the changes. So that's what I agree 100%. It's all about how you feel and being fitter and stronger, and not the number. I mean, it's good to see the numbers dropping, but I don't think that needs to be the main focus.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is your favorite part about being keto?
I just love the food. It tastes so good. It's, you know what, when you start putting fat back into your diet, oh my goodness, it tastes incredible.
Oh yeah. Did you grow up like with the whole non-fat, low fat? I mean, did you used to eat that way?
Absolutely. Yep. So I remember before my wedding, everything has to be low fat, and it's so tasteless. It doesn't taste good, but you're like, oh yeah, I'm losing weight, so this is great. And then once you start eating, normally, and then the weight starts to sort of come back on again. Yeah, no. Do you know what? Fat tastes good. I love it. It's great.
Oh,
I mean, who doesn't love sitting down to bacon and eggs, or, putting butter on everything? I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I wish I could have butter, but I can't do the butter right now. But I love the fact that, like, I used to be a fat phobic, and you said a word that my husband always used to tease me of, because he would say, all you ever eat is boneless, skinless, tasteless chicken.
Yeah.
So
It is. It's so tasteless. It's bland. It's boring. It's it's not good at all. Whereas there's so much variety and there's so much taste. All those things that beforehand was, oh no, you can't put olive oil. Oh, you can't have bacon. Oh no, no cream. I never used to buy cream. I never used to buy butter. I wouldn't have a lot of cheese, and it's like, oh no, all that stuff's not. I'd have low fat yogurt and low fat sour cream, and it was all this low fat milk. And no, now I've realized how much flavor's in fat, and how it fills you up and you feel full. You don't need to eat as often because you feel satisfied. It's great. That's what I love about it, is just that you can eat real food that tastes really good. So
what are some of your favorite go-tos
in food?
Look,
I'm not so much of a sweet tooth. I do make fat bombs, having them in the freezer. Every now and again, I'll grab a couple of those. Probably my go-to is bacon. I like bacon. Bacon goes with everything.
So do you just eat it plain, or do you do something with it, Miss Chef?
Well, it depends on my time frame. So I do like to make. I do cook some bacon up, leave it in the fridge, and if I feel like something, I'll just go and grab myself a bit of bacon that's been cooked. Otherwise, Caesar salad. I love make some fresh mayonnaise, have that in the fridge there. Put together a bit of a Caesar salad. Look, I don't know if I have one particular thing that I go to all the time. We kind of just mix it up all the time, really.
Oh, good. That's the
and
best
cheese.
way.
Cheese is good. I like cheese.
Oh my gosh, my favorite cheese. Because I did that test I told you, the food sensitivity test, and so it says no cow's milk, no goat's milk, but I can have sheep's milk.
Right.
And so I'm all about Manchego cheese.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
Love cheese. Cheese is good.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm so happy that I can actually eat it. Okay, so do you do any fasting?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, most days I just eat around 6 o'clock at night. So most I do, the 24-hour fast. Sometimes, I have done, I did do, probably 6 months ago, I did a 5-day fast.
Ooh, how was that?
It was more of a mental challenge than anything else. Because your brain's kind of like, you probably should eat. Yeah, but I'm not hungry. So it was this kind of battle between socially, why are you not eating? You need to eat. You should be eating. But then listening to my body was fine. So I was just drinking water and I was drinking coffee, and that was about it. Mm-hmm. So, and then when I was going for the 6th day, but by the 6th day, I just had enough and thought, I need to eat now. So I broke my fast and I was good.
So when you did this fast, what kind of results did you have? Like, did you have, I want to hear, if you lost weight, if you maintained the weight loss, what were the details on that?
So I did lose weight. I probably lost, I'm not sure in pounds, but about 3 kilos over that time. And it stayed off. So, but I didn't sort of have to stick to that 6 days, and I didn't I was open to seeing how I would go. It was probably more of a bit of a challenge of, do you think I could make 6 days? Well, let's see how I go. So the weight loss definitely stayed off, which was great. And it kind of just reset my gut, and just, I don't know, it was a good sort of mental challenge, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't done one that long again since, but generally, as I said, 24, maybe 48 hours is sort of my standard sort of eating time. So just kind of play with it, I guess.
So what's next for you? Do you have more goals after this?
Well, my second ebook is in the process. Look, I want to sort of get into the food photography, recipe development sort of
Yeah,
area.
that's great.
Um, yeah, I've been approached by a couple of people. So I am working with one company that's sort of our local supplier of low carb products. So they've got me, developing some different recipes for them. So that's really exciting.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Like they're a food manufacturer?
they don't manufacture the food. They supply the food. So they import food from the States. So
Oh,
unfortunately, we're not quite as lucky as you guys with so many different products. So they they're importing a lot of different products. They have, locally sourced products as well that that you can shop online and buy their different products. But on their website, they've got a section for recipes. So I use some of their different products from their store and, develop some different recipes for them. So that's kind of,
oh, cool.
yeah, that's where I want to sort of take all of this. Obviously, continue to inspire people, but yeah, go down the path of developing low carb keto recipes and, you know, extending my photography skills. So yeah,
How long you been taking pictures?
only since I started Instagram, so probably 12 months. Um, and I look back at some of the early photos and I think, oh my goodness, that's a little bit embarrassing. But, as I've grown and been inspired by different people, just started. I've only just recently bought myself a proper digital camera as opposed to using my phone for the photos. So yeah, learning how to use that and the different angles and the lighting and props and stuff. I love it. It's really creative and it's exciting and it's fun. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's super cool. I mean, I'm really impressed by your talent. That's
Well, thank
awesome.
you.
And
Thank you.
how can the listeners, well, first let me ask you, is there any other juicy wisdom that you want to share with the listeners?
Juicy wisdom.
Like
Oh
any just
goodness.
parting thoughts that you want to leave them with?
Um, I just think you do you. Don't you just focus on you. Focus on making yourself happier and healthier and eating the foods that work for you. I think I just do what works. If tracking and calculating macros work, do it. If not, just eating low carb foods works, do it. If just cutting sugars out is what's working to start with, I just think focus on you and not, as I said, on Instagram, there's so many people out there and, it can be a bit overwhelming looking at so many people going, oh, I just want to be like them. I want to do that. But I think you've just got to find what works for you and stick to it.
Yeah. And honestly, like you just never know what's going to move the needle,
No.
right? Like I've been stuck around the same weight for quite a while. And no matter what I did, I kept landing here. And then all of a sudden I was going to do a 3-day fast and it ended up being like 46 hours. And I
Yep.
lost weight. I only really weighed in that one day because I started on Monday night's dinner and then I was done. And then so I went all day Tuesday. So by the time I weighed on Wednesday, I'd lost maybe 2 pounds. Or a
Yep.
pound and a half or something. But the crazy thing was I ate dinner Wednesday night and I thought, oh, I'm just probably gained back the 2 pounds. But no, I ended up going down a little bit more. And then Thursday I ate normally, just like I would normally eat. And then today I went down more. So you just never know what's going to break that wall down for you.
And you know what? Sometimes if the weight's not moving, there's other things happening within your body. So
Right.
there's a lot of healing going on. There's a lot of other things happening. So, yeah, I just think sometimes we're so focused on, I've got a stall, I haven't lost weight. But, your body's healing. It's doing other things that, I just think and I just think this has to be a lifestyle change. So it's not something that you do for a few months and you get the results and then go back to eating, the standard way.
Yeah.
I just think this is going to be a lifestyle, a lifetime change. And, that's when you'll start to see the results, when you just go, yep, this is how I eat now. This is what we do. And then you will lose weight and your body will heal. And, I don't know. I just think you've got to do what works for you. And like you said, sometimes the weight will shift when you're not expecting it. It will just start to drop off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm all about the healing. I've been keto now for about 3 years.
Okay.
And I came to it because I found it accidentally. My mom got diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Right.
And Hashimoto's, like within a week of each, I swear it felt like a week apart. And so I started doing some research and I found this and I'm like, yeah, no way. This is impossible. But lo and behold, I am like, after all the research I've done, I'm like, this is it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the key. And that's what my kids keep saying. It's the key to life. This is life changing. It can heal so many people. How many people have been diabetic and have changed the way they eat and, have reduced their insulin, and it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So how can our listeners find you, cutie?
So I am on Instagram, so deliciously.keto. I'm also on Facebook. I do have a website, but we're changing that over a little bit. So we're doing a little bit of work on that, but that's deliciously.ketohub.com. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, hey, listen, I am so inspired by you, and someday I'm going to learn how to take cool pictures. That is one of my things that I want to learn how to do. So keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to seeing your collaboration and all of that with, your friends from Australia. So,
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. It's been great chatting.
Wow, I could have talked to that girl forever. She was awesome. So you need to go make sure you follow her. And for complete show notes, head on over to bewellbeketo.com. If you love the show, please come on it and be a guest. We're always looking for new guests. And we would love for you to leave us a rating and review. Head on over to iTunes so more people can find these inspiring stories. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Make it a great day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.